Hello, I just saw your job listing on LinkedIn and I was wondering if I could apply for the same over the phone call.
Sorry, what?
Yes, I understand, but I feel like in person I make a better impression. So I was wondering if I could just submit my application, tell you more about myself over this phone call since you're the.
I would suggest you fill the application online, submit it online, please.
Yes, I do understand that. What if I just come around in person and give you my application by hand? Will that be something that is suitable for you since you're already looking for somebody who is go-getter and works in a fast-paced environment with out-of-box thinking? I'm guessing this kind of makes me eligible for that.
Just follow the steps online.
I live very nearby.
No need to come here in person.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Bye.
I'm not actually gonna do that. My passport is too weak to be able to do anything like that. But in the past few years, most hiring managers have been very avoidant of human interaction, especially in the early stages of the recruitment process. In fact, they're even very reluctant to admit that they're using artificial intelligence to filter out candidates. Do you mind if I ask, are you using any AI screeners for filtering out applications?
I don't comment on that.
So there's a severe lack of transparency in this process, which has led to some very creative ways by which the employees or potential employees are counteracting this using artificial intelligence.
Guys, stop wasting your time applying for jobs. There's literally a website that'll do it all for you. And we all love lazy girl jobs.
So it feels like we're in sort of like a weird arms race. But who's going to win? And who is it benefiting really? And this comes at a time wherein the working population is going to reduce by 20% in the next 20 years. In fact, in the next 5 years, by 2030, 50% of the working population in UK and US are going to be over 50 years. So the working population is rapidly aging, and at the same time, the number of people who are employed at a younger age is going down by quite significant margins. And there's a big gap. This should not be existing. This is not how it's supposed to work. Something about this seems very broken. So let's dissect this two-pronged problem. We can first discuss about the employers and what it looks like from their side, and then we can talk about the potential employees and what it looks like from their perspective as well. So to understand the perspective of the recruiter, I decided that I should become the recruiter myself. And to do that, I decided that I'll post one job listing on my LinkedIn page for a content researcher. Now, to set some context, my LinkedIn profile has about 300 followers, and I posted this job about 3 days ago. In the job description, I had mentioned that I needed a certain set of skills, but I also mentioned that they have to submit one video idea that they would like to work on if they get hired. So what I'm really trying to understand is, firstly, how many people applied, and secondly, how many people actually read through the whole job description and did the dutiful. So in the 3 days of job posting, I have... Bhai, you want to see this? I have 434 applicants. We have 434 applicants.
In 3 days.
I guess I get the point now as to why these people want an AI screener, because one person cannot go through 400 applications. So you need something to filter out some of the candidates. Thankfully, what I did was more of a manual process, and I can very easily filter anybody who read through the whole thing by just checking how many emails I got, which was one of the constraints of this job description. And that answer is 16. So 400 people applied for this application just because there was an easy apply button on the side of it. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but employers, especially the larger companies, have it kind of tough when it comes to recruiting. Okay, let me explain that a little bit. A few years ago, recruitment looked completely different. When a big corporation would list their job openings, a potential employee can apply in a very limited amount of ways. Firstly, they can mail their CV via post, they can fax it to them, if you remember what that is, or they could just go door to door and deliver it by hand to the recruiter in question. Now, what this really did was that it created a barrier for people to really be into the job opening to be able to apply for this, because it took a lot of manual effort, and that would automatically then create a barrier for the number of candidates that can apply for a particular job. Now, compare that to what it is right now, wherein applying for a job is as easy as clicking this one button. Click this one single button, and everything that you have ever done in your professional life will be sent in detail to the recruiters. So back in the day, when somebody would post a job opening, they would expect somewhere around a dozen job applications. But in today's day and age, that same job can perhaps get thousands and thousands of job applications. So pardon me for saying this, but perhaps big companies do kind of have it tough when it comes to recruiting. But my sympathy for them ends right over there, because companies at the end of the day just want to make more money in as little time as possible. And the only way to do that is by becoming more efficient. In today's day and age, most companies use something called an applicant tracking system. In fact, 99% of all Fortune 500 companies use this thing called ATS. When you're applying for a job, this is what is happening behind the scenes. An employer lists a job on a platform like LinkedIn. This job posting usually has a job description which is laced with inherent keywords. Now, these keywords are quite important, as we'll see later on in the video. But for now, this job listing collects your CV and perhaps your cover letter. In the next step, it creates a profile for you using your CV and your cover letter. This profile is then processed by a machine learning model, which, for lack of better words, let's call it an AI black box. Now, generally, this model is trained on internal company data using their highest performing employees and also their lowest performing employees. So essentially, now they have a profile for an extremely good employee, an extremely bad employee, and then you. So what does it actually compare between the three? Well, that is the mystery of the black box. From what we know, it sometimes ranges from your level of experience and your actual skill sets, but at other times, it also just tests what you like to do in your free time. Now, after this filtration process, and depending on the level of automation that the recruiter has deployed, you might go through another AI model, or you might finally be able to see a human being. Now, the problem with using machine learning models for eliminating non-interesting candidates is that they are trained on data which might not really well be suited for recruitment. There was a survey conducted by Crown Research which highlighted that 25% of black women were denied job interviews because of their hair. About 66% of them said that they had changed their hair for a job interview to lessen the chances of being passed over due to hair discrimination. And historically, there have been many such instances where racial profiling has caused a denial of a suitable candidate for no objective reason at all. Racial profiling in recruiting isn't something new. It's awful, but it's not exactly new. The length and shape of your hair should not really define how much you are capable for a job. And I would like to think that these instances are far and few in between. But when you specifically train ML models on previous recruitment data which have these biases, it can cause a lot of serious problems. So let's say that you went through this ATS and was successfully called for a video interview, only to realize that it was not a video interview at all. You're just supposed to record yourself answering some preset questions and then send it over. What you perhaps don't realize is that it's not just your answers that are being analyzed over here, it's also your face. It's the way that you speak, it's the expressions that you make, it's your vocal tonality. Everything is being scanned by an AI black box, which does not feel very right at all. Now, something that this algorithm could be trained on is picking up on, let's say, expressions, let's say their vocal tone, their friendliness. But the problem is, different cultures have very different set of expressions and vocal tonality. So let's say you are a foreigner trying to find a job in this alien country, but your set of expressions and vocal tonality doesn't really match the one that this model was trained on. So you might have all the relevant experiences, but as long as there is no further human intervention, this could be the end of the road for your job recruitment process. All because your set of expressions and tonality did not match what was expected of you to be. Now, in all honesty, in the past couple of years, these recruitment models and the companies behind it have been trying to eliminate this bias that they have. But sometimes these biases creep in completely out of the blue. An anonymous source suggested that an AI screener was discriminating against women during a recruitment process. There were far more male candidates filtered out positively than female candidates. Upon audit, it was discovered that the AI resume screener had been trained on CVs of employees already at the firm, giving extra marks if they listed baseball, hobbies that were linked to more successful staff, than those who mentioned softball. Now, if you're familiar with American sports, you know that traditionally women prefer softball over baseball, and unfortunately, the AI screener carried over that bias to itself, unknowingly preferring a certain gender over the other. So we've seen one half of this two-pronged problem. Now let's address the other half, the potential employees.
What if we could use AI agents to apply to jobs for us?
In this video, the only job is that you will be able to find hundreds of jobs for any role in the world.
In this video, we are going to build an AI agent using N8N and Claude AI to help us find a job.
What if you could find a job, apply to the job, take the interview and pass the interview all automatically?
Parakeet AI is an AI job interview assistant that gives you answers and solutions to every coding problem on your job interview. And it is 100% invisible to your interviewer when sharing your screen.
Like I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest challenges that these companies are facing is not just the aging population, but also generative AI.
In this episode, I'll show you 6 powerful AI prompts that will help you write a polished, ATS-friendly, and recruiter-approved resume in minutes.
So the problem arises from the fact that a lot of people are applying for the same job by using AI, and then they are being rejected by somebody else using AI. It's a funny little time that we're living in. Now, using Easy Apply on LinkedIn or writing a cover letter through generative AI is just a tip of the iceberg. Because the moment people realize that recruiters are using AI to filter them out, they have figured out a way of gaming the system. So I decided that I should do a little experiment for myself and check out if one of these AI trickery actually really works. So what I've done is that over the course of 4 to 6 weeks, or maybe closer to 8 weeks, I have made 2 identical resumes and applied them at very similar jobs. And when I say identical resumes, they are identical resumes. To the human eye, of course. For the AI, completely different. These are the 2 resumes. One is this, and the other one is this. So what I want you to do is to take these resumes and identify which one got 0 callbacks and which one got 6 callbacks.
Oh,
Okay?
cool.
Simple?
Because on the surface there, it looks... What the hell? Yeah, right? I mean, both are the same.
One of them got 6 return calls and one of them got 0.
Is it like कुछ punctuation में कुछ फर्क है कि AI का पास कर सकते हैं क्या? Like, what is it? It's like word to word same.
When you're reading this as a human, can you see any difference between the two?
No. Not
Anything visibly different? So do you have any logical reason why one would be selected 6 times and one would not be selected at all?
No freaking way.
So in one of these resumes, I copy and pasted the job description in white font on the side. As a human, you can't see it because it's white and white, but the AI can still see it. And all the keywords that were needed from the job description for the AI were there in this.
So you're saying there's some words written here which the AI can see, and
Of course, because it's characters. The AI can go through characters.
damn, bro. That's actually genius.
How do you feel?
Man, it's a messed up one.
Happy that we freelancers.
Thank you very much. It is a bit bizarre to see how easily this can be manipulated into somebody else's gain, and just how broken this entire system is at this moment. Now, this is the great recruitment paradox. People are using AI to apply for more jobs than ever. Recruiters are being overwhelmed and hence are resorting to AI to filter out more candidates than ever. And regardless of all of this, the talent pool is spread so thin that people are still struggling to figure out a way to find their potential matches. So it kind of does beg the question, what's the way forward? Here's the thing, I went through researching this video trying to defend the subjectivity of a human intervention in this age of AI objectivity. I was trying to advocate for that human touch, that intuitive sense that somebody would fit in this job. And meanwhile, companies were sold on this idea that they would bring in this mathematical precision through this AI screeners. But it turns out that wasn't really the case. In fact, after reading this book called The Algorithm by Hilke Schellmann, I kind of realized that I did not really need to put an argument forward because there is no objectivity in AI, at least not yet. This book by Schellmann makes it clear that there is very little objectivity in the AI tools that are used for recruitment. In fact, she states that it's mostly just an illusion. And through various examples, like some of which we have shown in this video itself, she exemplifies that these recruitment processes, these AI recruitment processes, which are marked as neutral and scientific, somehow are just amplifying the already existing biases that are already troubling us in 2025. Now they just have a real technical jargon wall to hide behind. But we have to admit this, that AI isn't really going anywhere, whether we like it or not. It's a tool that makes this recruitment process for these companies extremely cheap. So the real question isn't really about whether or not we should be using AI, but what's the responsible way of using AI? Well, thankfully, we have some research on this that we can go through. And to simplify all of this, we have broken it down into 3 simple buckets. The first one that we are going to be tackling is transparency. If these ML models are a black box, we need something to shine some light on it. It's high time. If you're a company and you're using an AI screener, let the people know. If a candidate has been rejected by an AI screener, break it down for them. Let them know why and what caused them to not be suitable for this job that they applied for. And there are tools available for these specific tasks. There are AI models like Lime and SHAP which break down exactly why an ML model has come to a decision. So why not use it? If you can show what caused the rejection of a candidate, they can perhaps work on it better, but more importantly, they'll be able to trust this system. And if there are any hidden biases in the system in that case, this will completely expose them. Next, what we're going to tackle is the blind recruitment process. If a person's skin color, their gender, the type of hair is influencing whether or not they should be selected for a job, I think it's high time that we take away these data points from the ML model and let it actually work on the skill set that the candidate is presenting. In fact, if I had to add one more point, I think we rely too much on keywords and job titles, especially given the fact that these are all man-made and many of them just don't make any sense at all. So I think blind recruitment and a change in the company's temperament towards keywords and job titles can go a long way in selecting fair and honest candidates. If you look at people for their skill sets, for their ability to learn, you'll have a much better chance of actually hiring the right person. But then again, blind recruitment will not be the only solution for this, because as we've seen in the baseball, softball fiasco, unintentional biases will always creep in because the data is just so terribly biased because of the older data. And that is where the hybrid model comes in. Because let's face it, we are not there with AI yet. We might be there someday since it's a very effective tool. But at this moment, since we're dealing with recruitment, which affects actual people's lives, I don't think it's ready yet to be deployed by itself. So a human intervention is terribly needed. Now, these interventions can come in at any form. It can be regular audits like New York dictates, or it can just be something as simple as a human writing the rejection email, which all companies should do, by the way. Don't let the person hang. Write them an email why they were not selected, and let the human do that. So along the spectrum of actually conducting the interview and going through the CVs up until just writing the rejection email by sorting through why the AI rejected them, you have very different levels of intervention that you can play with. But human intervention at this moment, along with the AI, is very, very critical. So the idea is to let the AI do the heavy lifting and let the human do the selection or rejection. So where does it leave us? Well, AI isn't really ready by itself to dictate how people should live their lives through what jobs to do, but it can still help if we use it wisely. We've covered a lot of real-world examples of how AI is being used wisely in our newsletter, which you can subscribe to by using this QR code or the link in the description. Absolutely free. But all of these examples are based on everything that we have discussed right now, on transparency, on keeping humans in the loop, and on checking for biases. We just need to remember collectively that hiring is more than just data points. A human being is a very complex being, and while actions go a long way, you never really can predict the future. At least not yet. Now, I will gladly accept the fact that I've only presented solutions from the perspective of the recruiter and not somebody who's actually seeking a job, because they're using AI quite diabolically as well to an extent. I mean, you could see from the number of applications that I got for my job application that I listed. But the point of the matter is, it's always the institution that has to take the first step forward. They have to make sure that the people believe in the system, they have trust in the system, and then give a fair chance to humanity that the trust that you've built will pay off. And if that isn't happening, then we have far bigger problem than people getting a job. So here's me hoping that someday we'll have a system that is not just efficient and mathematically precise, but that is actually fair. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you very, very soon. Hopefully it doesn't take as long as this video did. Catch you in the next one.